Hello children, welcome to my YouTube channel. Hope you are enjoying my class. Through my YouTube channel, I am trying to give you a very clear concept about the sewage treatment. But before we discuss about the process of sewage treatment, let me make you very clear what do you mean by sewage. See, whether it is in municipality or in villages, domestic wastewater which is carrying a lot of fecal matter, which contain very harmful bacteria along with many other microbes and organic particles, including human excreta as well as the excreta of other domestic animals. So it's a big problem for any municipality, it's a big challenge for any rural area, the panchayat people to how to dump this waste, and before leading to the main water body, how this can be purified and how this can be treated well, so that in untreated condition, this waste, otherwise called as sewage, should not be allowed to enter into the main water body. Otherwise, it will contaminate the water and it will carry so many waterborne diseases, including cholera and many other. So, our primary focus today is under the topic of microbes in human welfare. In a subtopic we have selected, that is microbe in sewage treatment. Now, see, I have given a model picture through my diagram how the sewage water carrying from municipal waste water from the different drainage system, instead of directly allowing it to enter to the main water body, river or stream, first of all, we are allowing it to enter into a settling tank. That can be a very big pond constructed artificially or artificially constructed pond or tank. Now, this tank we can other way say primary treatment tank or primary treatment pond. So the two level of treatment we should follow. First of all, the primary treatment. This primary treatment is purely a physical process. What we do is the sewage water we are collecting from the different drainage system into a settling tank, where the pebbles, the small stone chips or various muddy particles are allowed to settle down by means of sedimentation process. Here, to facilitate the sedimentation process, we can add lime or something like, which will facilitate the process of sedimentation. And the very light particle, what you call as floating debris. These floating debris are floating over the tank, settling tank. So, the floating particle, otherwise what we call as floating debris, are to be filtrated by several repeated filtration technique, and the heavy particle are settled down by a process of sedimentation. This sedimented particle mostly contain the mud, various other organic solid particles which are heavy comparatively, and small pebbles. So this settled at the bottom of this settling tank where primary treatment is done. This settled material which is deposited at the bottom of this tank, we called it as primary sludge. Primary sludge. So this primary sludge solely consists of mud along with small pebbles. Is it very clear? Once the primary sludge has deposited at the bottom of the settling tank and the floating debris are filtrated out, then after removal of the floating debris, as I am just trying to rub it now, the water which left over the primary sludge, what we call as supernatant or effluent, primary effluent. This is nothing but almost the wastewater free from the primary sludge and floating debris. Now it is pumped to another tank, that is what you call as secondary treatment is done in this tank. So this secondary treatment process is purely a biological process. So the primary treatment was purely a physical process. Whereas the secondary treatment is purely a biological process. What is done in this process? The effluent, primary effluent, that is the water which is almost free from floating debris and primary sludge, are now pumped into another tank, that is secondary treatment tank. In that tank, an agitator is articulated. The role of this agitator is, with the help of movable van, it will continuously rotate, which will help to rotate the water present in it, and air is pumped in. Air is pumped in. So this air will help to mix throughout the water which contain much of organic matter. Now, this air will help for the growth of aerobic microbes along with certain fungi. So the aerobic microbes especially the bacteria and certain fungi, it will grow here, and all the bacteria growing here is aerobic bacteria mostly, along with certain fungi. So the aerobic bacteria along with the fungi forms a mass of debris. Over the debris, it forms a mass containing mostly the aerobic bacteria along with fungal hyphae. They called together as flosses. This floss is nothing but a mass of aerobic bacteria along with fungal hyphae. So they form a network and grow all over. As we are passing air or circulating air with the help of the rotating fan or agitator. This is the agitator. The air will thoroughly mix and it will help the aerobic bacteria to digest the organic matter, the fecal particle and other organic matter present in this effluent water. So when more and more organic matter is getting digested, they will demand more and more amount of oxygen. This is what we call, a term we use, BOD. BOD. What does it mean? BOD means biochemical oxygen demand. What is it? Biochemical oxygen demand. So the more and more amount of organic matter is decomposed, the level of biochemical oxygen demand will decrease. So the amount of biochemical oxygen demand, that is an indicator that indicates the level of pollution in the secondary treatment plant. What I mean? I mean to say, if more and more oxygen is demanding, that means that effluent is having more and more organic matter. That means that effluent is more and more polluted. It requires to purify. So, how we measure the biological oxygen demand? It is the amount of oxygen required to digest aerobically all the organic component present in the water body in 1 liter of water. So, in 1 liter of water, whatever the amount of organic matter present, it has to be digested by the aerobic microbes, and for this process of oxidation, how much amount of oxygen is required, that is what you call as biological oxygen demand. Gradually, when this process is going on, the water is effluent, water is agitated and air is circulated. A time will come when the amount of oxygen required will become very, very less or negligible. That means it is the high time now the water has almost become free from organic matter. Unless and until the amount of oxygen demand, that is BOD, level become negligible, we shall continue the process of agitation mechanically and supply of air. So till that time, the complete organic matter is getting digested. So after complete digestion of the organic matter, that is the human excreta and other animal excreta and other organic matter, now this will settle, the digested part will settle at the bottom of this tank, what we call as secondary treatment tank, and this part we now called as, this was primary slag, and this is what we called as activated slag. Activated slag. Now, the activated slag settled down at the tank and the water from top, which has been free from the activated slag, are allowed to enter to the main water body, that is stream or river or lake. And what about the fate of this activated slag? The activated slag, little part of the activated slag, again taken in another pond where further secondary treatment will be done. It is taken as a inoculum or a starter, just like while settling the curd from milk, we add little amount of previously prepared curd as a inoculum or a starter. Same as the case here, the little amount of activated slag we use in a fresh pond where secondary treatment will be done, and the remaining activated slag we are taking in a tank where now anaerobic microbe. It was here done by aerobic microbes, here anaerobic microbe. Anaerobic microbes are growing profusely, which will act upon the aerobic microbes present in that slag, which will act upon the aerobic microbes present in that slag, and ultimately the aerobic microbes will be completely acted upon, completely the organic particle whatever left is digested by the anaerobic microbes in the anaerobic slag digester. This is otherwise called as an anaerobic slag digester, as I have written this time, and as a result there will be production of methane CH4 plus some amount of hydrogen sulfide H2S, of course a little amount of CO2 also produced. So this methane and hydrogen sulfide, especially the methane being an inflammable gas, it is used as a domestic fuel for the purpose of cooking or for any other purposes, and at the same time the water is getting purified and allowed to enter into the main water body. This is how the microbes, with the help of use of aerobic microbes first, which is forming a process mostly made up of aerobic microbe and certain fungi, and then anaerobic slag digester where anaerobic microbes are digesting the activated slag and forming the biofuel or biogas mostly made up of methane and hydrogen sulfide and little amount of carbon dioxide. So this methane can be accumulated somewhere in a tank and it can be transported for or can be directly used for domestic purposes or as it is being inflammable. So in this way the microbe is also very helpful for us in the treatment of sewage, and this is how we are supposed to allow the wastewater to enter into the main water body. Otherwise it will, if untreated water, industrial we are not talking about, we are talking about domestic waste, either municipality or from rural area, if it is through drainage system, if it is directly entering into the water body, it will lead to various harmful waterborne diseases because it contains so many harmful bacteria including coliform bacteria, and especially these are required to be treated well before allowing to enter into the main water body. This is a brief about the sewage treatment with the help of microbes. I hope you got a very clear concept. Till then, thank you for today and see you in next class.